Hi, I'm Jessica Taylor from InkItUpWithJessica.com. I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 20 years now, and my favorite thing is getting a new catalog full of fun new stamping products and ideas. So grab a cup of coffee, pull up a comfy chair, and look through the new 2019-2020 Annual Stampin' Up! Idea Book and Catalog with me. I'll show you some things you won't want to miss, point out my favorite new things, and even tell you some things I don't like. We can't like it all, right? First, the catalogs come bound like this, but I take mine to an office supply store to have it spiral bound. This makes it super easy to use because it will lay flat to pages you want to look at, or you can even open it so that it'll stay open to the page you want like this. The spiral binding can cost anywhere from $5 to $10, but it is totally worth it. Let's start with some things you won't want to miss. First, on page 1, we have the table of contents. This is going to help you find what you're looking for in the catalog. You'll notice that it's listed by kind of occasion, and then underneath are the suites of this catalog, which we'll talk a little bit about in a minute. Also, there's bundles that contain coordinating stamp sets and tools that if you buy them together, you'll get 10% off. Totally worth it. You're going to want the coordinating products anyway. Also, there's a little mark for new things to this catalog that you'll want to look for. Let's start by talking about stamps. So I love Stampin' Up! Stamps. They now come in 2 different types, cling and photopolymer. So cling are red rubber stamps, and they cling to a clear mount block. These replace the old wood mount and clear mount stamps. These are similar to the old clear mount, but they stick to the clear blocks a lot better. The photopolymer are totally clear stamps that you also stick to clear blocks, and both types have their benefits, but you really don't have to choose because Stampin' Up! Has chosen for you. Each stamp set comes in either cling or photopolymer, and they decided that based on the images that come in the set, which kind of stamp would work best. As you are looking through your catalog, what you see is what you get for the stamps. So the stamps are shown full size, like on page 23, the Daisy Lane stamp set. These stamp images are shown full size. It tells you what type of stamp they are. These are the cling. It tells you how many stamps come in a set. So this is 9 cling stamps that all come together so that you know that they coordinate. And if there's a shadow around the image, so it's just kind of a little bit, it kind of looks almost vanilla behind the 2 daisy images, that means that there are punches or dies, but in this case punches that coordinate with the stamp set. It will tell you that down below. So this says coordinates with the daisy punch, tells you the page, or the medium daisy punch, tells you the page for that. You'll also look for the bundles, so you can get the Daisy Lane stamp set with the new medium daisy punch that will fit this one, and you'll save 10% when you purchase those together using this code. Also, one other thing to note is that down below, they give you the suggested clear block sizes. Here on page 182 are the clear blocks. These are what you're going to put your stamps on. I find I get the best stamped image when I use a block that is closest to the size of my stamp, but my most used block size is D. You can also get a clear block bundle that will include one of each of these sizes of blocks so that you'll know you'll have the right size when you need it. And of course, on a bundle, you can save 10%. Also on page 182, you're going to find supplies for cleaning your stamps. Lately, I've been using the Simply Chamois. You just get it wet, you clean your stamps on it, and then you rinse it out when you're done. Also, for years and years and years, I used the Stampin' Scrub with the Stampin' Mist. I still use this sometimes. It does seem to take ink off of the red rubber stamps and kind of get up into the fine details of the stamp better than the Simply Chamois, but this one is just easier to use. There's also a new stamp cleaning pad and refill. I haven't tried it yet, and it says when you are using it on the cling stamps, the red rubber ones, you should rinse the stamp with water immediately after using this to clean, and that sounds like too much work for me. But it does help to take stains off of your stamps, so you may want to use this occasionally if you have a stamp that's getting stained. You might want to clean it with this new stamp cleaning pad, and it does come with a refill. One other thing to know, actually 2 other things on this page, the Stampin Pierce Mat. This is just kind of a foam mat that if you put it underneath when you're stamping with your photopolymer stamps, you're going to get a better image. Also, I use the grid paper a lot, actually pretty much all the time when I'm stamping. I use it to test my stamp images on, and it also makes it easier for me to not make a mess. And I use the lines on the paper to kind of line things up, so when I'm taping my card together, I'm more likely to tape my layers on evenly. If you are just getting started with card making, you might want to skip right back to page 200. There's a few pages of kits. These are great, like I said, if you're just getting started or if you don't have a lot of time to make cards. Kits are fantastic. I actually only keep kits up at our lake house because I don't have a lot of time to stamp when I'm up there, but I like to have the kits so that when I need a card, I have everything I need so that I can put one together really quickly. So on page 200 and 201, this is a card kit that does not include everything you need. So the project kit includes all of the cardstock and embellishments, envelopes, all that kind of stuff. But you would need to order the stamp set separately and then these ink pads and supplies separately. If you go to pages 202 and 203, here are 3 kits that are all inclusive. It has everything you need in it to make these cards. So one thing to note is the kits kind of flow across the pages. So this first one is called the Looking Up Card Kit. This kind of tells you more about it. And then if you look over here, here are the supplies that come in the kit. And this is the stamp set that comes in the kit. So really everything you need, stamps, ink, paper, it even has a block for putting your stamps on in there, and some adhesive, pretty much everything you need to put these cards together. This is a 15 card kit. This one is 20 cards. Again, it goes across. This is another 20 card. This one has some different size cards. So these are not all full size cards here. There's some cute little gift cards, but some of them are small, so you wouldn't be able to mail them. So those are a good option. Again, if you're just getting started, I would go ahead and maybe start with one of these 3 kits. One of the things that impressed me about Stampin' Up! 20 years ago and that I still love is the color coordination. So on page 3, you can see at a glance, these are all the Stampin' Up! Colors. So they come in ink, paper, and accessories so that you know everything is going to go together. So new this year are the 2019-2021 colors. And let me kind of show you what those look like. Here is Rococo Rose, Terracotta Tile, Pretty Peacock, Seaside Spray, and Purple Posy. So these are the new in colors. They'll be available for 2 years. And the 2018-2020 colors will be available for 1 more year. And then these are kind of the basic colors that stick around for years. And I tend to be a brights collection girl, but there's so many pretty colors in all of them. So once you look at them here, you'll want to flip back to pages 162 to 164. And on these pages, you're going to see everything in all the colors. So cardstock, ink pad, refill. Now you can get them individual for each color, or you can get assortments. So this is the Subtles collection. You could get a collection of that cardstock. You're gonna get 2 sheets of each of these colors. Or you can also get all of the ink pads in a bundle and save 10%. Also all of the ink refills. And I recommend that when you buy a new stamp pad, you buy the ink refill in that same color because it's gonna help your stamp pad to last way longer. And just in case you forget that you got a color, you don't want to, especially with the ink colors, you don't want your ink pad to run out and then you find out that you can't get the ink refill in that color anymore. So go ahead and order an ink refill when you get a new ink pad. So those are all the colors. Let's head back to page 4 and talk about product coordination. This is another thing I love about Stampin' Up! They make it so that everything coordinates, so it makes it so easy for you to know. On pages 4 and kind of the next few pages, this is the first time that they have put all of the bundles in one place. So this makes it so easy to see what coordinates and what comes together. It starts right here, like this is a stamp set with 2 embossing folder dies that coordinate. You'll also see stamp sets with coordinating dies, stamp sets with coordinating punches, like the Daisy Lane one that I talked about earlier. So there's a few pages of those that you can look at right off so that you don't miss any of the bundles throughout the catalog. Another way that Stampin' Up! Coordinates everything is through suites. So there are a number of them throughout the catalog. My favorite one is the Come Sail Away suite, pages 144, 145, and then they go on to the next page. But these are just a selection of coordinating products that you know are going to work together. So this one includes a stamp set with coordinating dies, some designer series paper, and then it also has some trinkets and twine, and also some Memories and More cards, an embossing folder, just everything coordinates. So new this year is they have one item number so that you can just put in one item number and you're going to get one of each of these things in the suite and be able to create a ton of great things because you know that all the stuff you're ordering coordinates and you're going to have everything you need to make cards or scrapbook pages or boxes or whatever it is that you want to make. So let me show you a few cards that I've made with the products in this suite. I am not a big fan of trinkets because they add just a lot of weight and dimension and they're harder to mail, and I tend to mail most of my cards, but they are super cute. This is a make and take that I did at a Stampin' Up! Event that I went to. Some of the Come Sail Away paper and designer series paper, and then the lighthouse, and then this image is also in that set. On this one, some more of the paper. And then this is one of the die shapes in this. This is actually from a different die set that's new. And I'll point that out in a little bit. And then I really love, it's not part of this suite, but the subtle embossing folder. And I'm not sure if you can see it in the video, but it just adds a subtle texture to this piece and it kind of looks like water. And so it's not as blatant as the high seas embossing that really looks like waves, but it just adds some dimension and I think it looks really great with this suite. And this is a shape that is in the die set, as well as it has something to cut out the sailboat and this little wheel here. So that is a really fun suite that I think you're going to want to get right away. Makes great guy cards, also cards of encouragement for anyone. I just love it. Now, let's look at something else I love, and that is the designer series paper. This is actually the first thing I go and look at in a new catalog because I love pretty papers. Now, I have to admit to you that I was a little bit disappointed in this year's selection because I am all about bold, bright birthday papers, and at first glance, there really aren't any. The papers in here really look kind of muted, and maybe the designs aren't ones that I absolutely love. But let me tell you that the paper always looks so much better in real life than they do in the catalog. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of those. So first we have the Mosaic Mood paper, and this is actually not my style, not really my colors, but it is kind of neat because these hummingbirds here have kind of a shimmer to them. They have a shine to them. So not only do they add colors and patterns, but they have texture to them as well. Now, I do love this piece. This piece is kind of bold and shiny and a solid color, so I'm gonna love using this one. The back sides of these too are not shiny, they're more matte, but there are some pretty ones that I think I will have fun using. I do think this flower one is pretty, and also this is a nice kind of all over basic pattern. So not my favorite set, but it's got potential. The Garden Lane designer series paper, this just says St. Patrick's Day and Irish to me. I think the patterns, and of course because they're green, but these are some nice basic garden patterns that I think are going to be great in the background. They're probably not going to be the main image of my cards, but they're going to make some great backgrounds. I really like this one, and I think this is going to look pretty behind some flowers. Now, the Magnolia Lane designer series paper, this is some of the paper that in the catalog I was like, boring, but in person it's so much prettier. It just has a subtle pink coloring to the flowers, and it's just really pretty. I love this sheet especially. And then here's the backgrounds. So again, like all together, I don't know that this is my favorite set, but I can see using the individual pieces, and that's what you really want to look at. So how would you use each of the individual pieces? I had to grab a pack of the Perennial Essence Designer Series paper because I just didn't understand it. This is kind of a watercolor impressions. I think this is my favorite one maybe. And it's just different. So I'm not sure how I'm going to use this yet, but I wanted to give it a try because sometimes, if you're like me, I tend to gravitate towards the same things and then my cards start to look the same. So sometimes it's good to get out of our comfort zone and try something new. So this is the try something new for me. So we'll see what I can make with that paper. I already told you that the Come Sail Away paper is my favorite. This is just very masculine paper, except for this piece. I do not understand this piece, but thankfully the other side is a nice stripes that I'll use. I love this piece. Just some nice basic backgrounds. And then the other side, again, like as a full sheet, I don't like this, but I've actually used it on a couple cards and it's pretty fun. I love this piece. I want to frame this piece. And then I also love the little lighthouses. This kind of, I can't think of what it's called. I want to say ticking, but anyway, I love it. And then the sailboats is another favorite. This Follow Your Art set. Now this one has some of my colors, kind of brighter. This is my favorite piece right here. Kind of has some office supply kind of things like binder clips, paper clips, buttons. Kind of fun, just an all over background. Again, kind of an all over background. So these are kind of fun, and these are bright colors that I can see using. Now the other side is more art supplies. I feel like I'll tend to use more of the basic sides on this, but fun, pretty paper with bright colors. I like it. The final pack of Designer Series paper I have is called Bird Ballad. And this actually surprised me because in the catalog, I was not a fan of it, but in person, this paper is beautiful. The colors are just gorgeous. The patterns are so pretty. Look at that. So I think this is going to be one of my favorite packs this year. That is just so gorgeous. And then the other side are more basic, kind of all over patterns. This stripe one is great. Some bird cages. I'm not a fan of birds, so we will definitely be using this side. And then some kind of bird prints. So one other thing that I love about Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper is that in the catalog and also on the back of each pack, it tells you exactly what Stampin' Up! Colors coordinate with this paper. So I know exactly what colors of ink and cardstock to pair with this paper to make great projects. If you're not sure what to do with all these pretty papers, go ahead and check out my One Sheet Wonder playlist on my YouTube channel for fun ideas on how to turn all of your pretty papers into a stack of pretty cards. So this is a really big catalog and it's full of fun products and ideas, and you are going to miss things the first 20 times you look through it. I've been asked, and yes, it is totally acceptable to look at it every night and sleep with it under your pillow. Here's how I usually look through it. The first time I'm looking for new products, I quickly flip through it. I usually start in the back with the Designer Series papers and the different accessories. The second time, I'm just slowly looking through it, starting from the front to the back, trying to just take it all in. I start a wish list of products I see that I like, and then the third time, I slowly look through at the ideas. So this catalog is full of ideas. There's just lots of cool cards. You can get ideas for color combinations. You can get ideas for card layouts. So just take a look at the different card ideas and maybe jot down some notes of things that you'd like to try. Also, what did they use to make that? Sometimes you're looking at a card in the catalog and you're wondering what they used to make it. Ask me. Stampin' Up! Has provided me with a list of supplies used to make every sample in the catalog so that I can help you out. Okay, it's truth time. I have to admit that I didn't really like this catalog when I first saw it. It's very Victorian. It's got a lot of muted colors, lots of layers, lots of accessories and embellishments that I don't usually have the time or patience for. But the more I looked at this catalog, the more things I found to like, and I think you will too. So let me show you a few of my favorites. I already told you about the Come Sail Away suite, but let's flip through the catalog so I can show you a few more of my favorite things. On page 15, there's a stamp set called Here's a Card. It's just got some great words and basic greetings that I find I would use on cards all the time. Happy birthday. I like this, I made you a card because you're worth it. Congratulations. Thanks. Thank you for being my friend. You made my day. It's all messy. The hair, the house, the heart, life. I'm here if you need me. And there's also some words of sympathy here. So I just think this is a great all occasion stamp set that I would use a lot. I'm not really a fan of the peacock, but I do love the new Noble Peacock Designer Series paper and foil sheets. These colors are my favorite. This color here is like, yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. On page 30 here, I was saying that I go through and look at all of the cards. This card here, I love seashells and anything that has to do with the beach. So I knew that I would need to get the new seashell stamp set. And that's called Seaside Notions on page 139. It's got some great seashell stamps, a seahorse, and then I love the fonts of the greetings in this set. On page 55, there's a new Ride With Me stamp set. If you've been around for a while, you might remember the old Loads of Love stamp set that Stampin' Up! Used to have that was similar. This one is so fun and it's great for so many occasions. You can put all these little things in the back of the truck. There's extra stamps because it has this coordinating truck ride dies that you can make these cute little actual trucks out of paper. How adorable is that? So some of the stamps in this set are to coordinate with the dies, but then there's also words. You can do a license plate that says I love Stampin'. It's just so fun. On page 58, there is a Check You Out stamp set that I think is so cute. I love libraries. I love going to the library. I love everything about reading and books. And so I love the stamp set. Also, I think this is funny because when I was young, a friend and I put library cards in the front of all of my books so that we could play library at home. On pages 82 and 83, there's some really cute animal stamp sets. My oldest daughter is all about animals. She wants to be a zookeeper when she grows up. So she loves the walrus stamp set. And I really like the Back on Your Feet stamp set. The animals are cute, but really I think it's the words that I love. Like the sigh, ouch. Sometimes that's all there is to say, and that I'm here for you. Or hope you're back on your feet soon. Hope things get better soon. Those are greetings that I think I can use with a lot of my different stamp sets, not just with the cute animal stamps. All right, flower stamps are my kryptonite. Do I really need another one? Yes, I do. So I love the To a Wild Rose stamp set that has a coordinating set of dies that, I guess they don't show the dies right on here, but there is a die set that goes with it. You can see around the images what it cuts out. It cuts out the leaves, it cuts out the flowers. So I was looking at this card and I thought, wow, I really like how it looks in black and white, which means that I could stamp, this outline stamp, this leaf stamp in a solid color and it would make a beautiful card. No coloring needed. But if I wanted to color it in, I could color it in and it would look gorgeous. Also, I really liked how they colored one in, but they didn't actually color it in. They're stamps so that you can stamp the 3 stamps on top of each other and get this look, just stamping like that without coloring in. So I love, love, love that idea. It's the same with the leaves. So this was a flower stamp set with the coordinating dies that I had to get. I wanted to also point out on page 156, these are the background stamps, and there are a couple new ones. I really like this birch background. And then there's also a new chicken wire one, but these are not shown full size. So just so you know, these are not full size. These little circles kind of show you what they look like full size, but these actual stamps are big enough so that you can stamp something for the front of a card. And this is the only thing that still has a wood mount option. So you can get these in the cling that you're gonna put on a giant clear block, or you can get them wood mount. All right, let's take a look at the accessories in the back. So I already talked about how all the colors coordinate, and we've looked at the designer series paper. I don't know if I mentioned, but these are all 12 by 12. All of these are 12 by 12. And then just these two color options are 6 by 6. You guys, these do not do those justice. When I was looking through the catalog at samples, especially the bright colors look so great. So I don't have these yet, but you will be seeing some samples because I will definitely be using this gingham sheet a lot. But these are just your kind of paper basics here. I wanted to especially point out on the ribbon and trim page. I wish there was a better way that they showed this because I feel like this does not do the ribbon justice. You want to make sure that you notice that ribbon comes in multiple colors. So for instance, this scalloped linen ribbon, it comes in Pretty Peacock, which I think looks gorgeous. And if you look throughout the catalog, you'll see samples that use the different colors of this. So this comes in the 5 new in colors. Some of the other ones, and really I feel like there's a really limited amount of ribbons this year, but they do come, some of them, in different colors. So make sure that you don't miss that. These embellishments here are not my favorite. I'm not really a fan of most of these because they make the cards hard to mail. They just add a lot of weight and thickness to your cards so that they don't mail well. But these would work great on other projects. My favorites for card making are the adhesive back sequins because those lay really flat, and also the enamel dots are pretty flat. These embellishments are more ones that I use because they are, except for the faceted gems, and I'm not sure about these, but I know that the rhinestones, like these pretty new peacock rhinestones in pretty colors, and then also these enamel dots, those are some of my favorites because they're pretty flat and so they're fine to mail. These are your coloring tools. These are the Stampin' Blends, lots of new colors in those. Pigment sprinkles, you will not see from me because they just seem too messy for me, and I do not do messy. Some nice watercolor pencils. These are just your basics. Again, we talked about those. Adhesives. I mostly use the snail adhesive for putting together my cards, and I put it around the edges of my cardstock so that my pieces stay stuck down. And then I also use the Stampin' Dimensionals. I like to use that especially to pop out my greeting. It just adds that little extra that is great, and it's easy to do. I know a lot of people use the liquid glue. I cannot. I just make an absolute mess with it, and so I rarely use it. But a lot of people use it, so if that's your jam, go for it. So lots more fun things. Punches. My favorite punches are always the basic shapes, like the circles, the labels, the tag toppers. The one thing I want to point out is the banner triple punch. I don't know why they put it in here like this because it doesn't show what it does. This will cut banner ends for you. So no matter how long your piece of paper is, it will just cut the end in a banner like that. I don't even have something here I can show you, but that it cuts a banner end is what it does. It doesn't cut a triangle like that. Some of my favorite dies are also the basic ones, like the layering circles, the layering ovals, the layering squares. These new stitched nested label dies, those are really neat. Also the stitched rectangles, and I think the stitched shapes is my most used die set. I am not a fan of all the little putsy stuff, all the little putsy pizzas, so you won't see me using those much. Also, embossing folders are great for adding a little texture to your cards. My favorites are these three here, the subtle 3D, the tin tile 3D, and the tufted 3D, but really they're all great. So if you have questions about anything you see in this catalog, please ask. Just put your question in the comments below and I'm happy to answer it for you. You can order products from this catalog at shopinkitupwithjessica.com. And once we've looked through this whole catalog, if your wish list is really big and your order is $150 or more, you're going to qualify for Stampin Rewards. So if your order is $150, you get 10% of that in Stampin Rewards, so that would be $15. And you can use that $15 to get anything in the catalog, or you can use it to select some of these exclusive stamp sets that are just for hosts. You don't have to host a party. You just have to place an order of $150 or more to get these stamp sets. My favorite is this Time for Tags stamp set that coordinates with the new Timeless Label Punch. It just has a great variety of where it has the image and the words together on a stamp, and I love that. That's like old school and makes it really easy to create. Also, if you want it all, like if you're looking through this catalog and you're like, I just want it all, I love it all, you may want to consider becoming a demonstrator and ordering a starter kit. You get to pick whatever you want, whatever supplies you want from this catalog, $125 worth for only $99, and then you're going to get a 20% discount on all of your orders after that. It is truly the best deal. So you can find more info and you can order your starter kit at inkitupwithjessica.com/su-starter-kit. You'll find the link below this video as well. Thank you so much for looking through the catalog with me. You can request your very own paper copy to look through at inkitupwithjessica.com/catalog.